Do you feel that? No, my friends, do you feel that? No, I'm telling you, do you feel that? The winds of change. Big things are happening. Opening weekend, advanced voter polls are looking a little busy. We're seeing scenes like this across the country. Our opening day of advanced polls here in Canada for our upcoming election on April 28th. This is an interesting sign. The last time we saw polls get busy like this was in 2015, when the youth turned out in huge numbers to vote in Justin Trudeau. That's the last time we saw stuff like this happen. And I'm curious how it's going to go throughout the weekend into next week. Because as you know, sure, the youth turned out in record numbers for Justin Trudeau because they wanted change. They wanted something different. And they turned out for the new Liberal leader, Justin Trudeau, to replace the older Stephen Harper. And the story's a little bit different this time, if you remember. The 18 to 34 crowd is trending in the direction of the Conservatives. A little bit different than what we saw back in 2015. When we saw numbers like these, it means people want change. We'll see if that change is Mark Carney or if that change is Pierre Poilievre and changing the status quo. We'll see what it is. But right now, what we're seeing across our nation cannot be denied. We look at what happened in the York-Durham debate earlier this week, where the Liberal candidate asked the crowd one question and he regretted doing so.
Do you really believe that Pierre Poilievre can lead this country with what you've seen? Good for you.
He said, good for you in a condescending tone. Couldn't believe that he got that reaction when you ask a rhetorical question and the answer comes back in the way you didn't want. It's amazing how that works. Why do people want change? Why are things getting pushed? Well, maybe, I don't know, we saw this out of BC earlier this week about the carbon tax, when we are being told as voters that they didn't repeal it, they just put it down to 0%. Hoping to bring it back, and they tell us that we are conspiracy theorists, that we're just being paranoid, that we're just spreading fear. Well, here it is. Here's the Liberal candidate. And now we hear the candidate for Kelowna fantasizing about bringing the carbon tax back.
Do you believe carbon taxes are an effective way to reduce emissions?
The experts say it is. Every expert on the planet has said it was the most cost-effective way to do this, and unfortunately, 38 or 39% of the Conservative Party made so much noise about this that it became unpalatable. And so, it doesn't mean that we're going to abandon it. It just means it's going to have to be applied in a different way.
Or maybe people are getting sick and tired of stupid games like this. We're seeing this in Pierre Poilievre's riding in Carleton, where you have 84 candidates running as independents as a form of protest. And people in Carleton are going to have to sift through all these names to find Pierre Poilievre's name and mark him down if they want to vote for him. This is the longest ballot protest. Record-tying number of candidates running in Ottawa riding of Carleton. There are 91 registered candidates running for the seat in Carleton, the riding held by Conservative leader and incumbent Pierre Poilievre. The 91 candidates tie the record for the most number of candidates in an election with the federal by-election last September in the Quebec riding of La Salle et Malverde. 85 of those candidates registered to run in Carleton are associated with the Electoral Reform Group, the longest ballot committee, and all have the same official agent, Thomas, who cares about his last name. The longest ballot committee protests Canada's first past the post system on its Blue Sky account. That tells you everything you need to know about this group. The group says it is having fun breaking records while pointing out that politicians shouldn't be in charge of their own ethics and election rules. Can't disagree with that. Just don't agree with how you're going about it. Whenever they go out, they see a lot of names. They fundamentally question, why am I seeing so many names, said Mark Mauder, a spokesperson for the group. That actually starts a conversation with people and makes them realize how inefficient our current system is. Elections Canada is warning results from Carleton may be delayed on April 28th due to the unusual circumstances created by the number of candidates on the ballot in Carleton. Maybe, just maybe, winds of change are coming because of stupid, dirty games like this, where they're trying to skew the results. If this group believes so much in change, why aren't they doing their protest in Mark Carney's riding? Why are they not doing their protest in Jagmeet Singh's riding? Because it's political and they only want to make sure Pierre Poilievre doesn't get in. The cards are stacked against you. You have to get out and vote in huge numbers, making it too big to rig, and make sure you send a large, humongous message to the political elite that you will not be pushed around any longer. We even look at former CBC broadcaster Peter Mansbridge commenting on the debates from the other evening and about how Pierre Poilievre may have turned the tide with his performance and how impressive it was in the English debate.
Feeling I had watching last night was that it was Poilievre's best moment so far in the campaign. He wasn't the aggressive, hammer him hard Poilievre, but he was still getting his points across that he hammers away at. He just seemed he seemed to be in good shape last night. What that does for him at this point in the campaign, I don't know. Carney looked like Carney. Reaction, the feeling I had watching.
Those are some interesting perspectives coming from Peter Mansbridge. And again, it's the funny games, the craziness that's going on, and even more nutty stories being dropped. This week, Liberal candidate invited head of suspected secret Chinese police station to campaign event. Liberal Party of Canada entangled with the CCP. Why are we not surprised? United Front. A Montreal area Liberal candidate invited to a campaign event this week the head of two organizations suspected by the RCMP of operating a secret Chinese police station. The invitation by Alexandre Mendez, the Liberal incumbent running for re-election in Brossard-Saint-Lambert, sowed consternation within the Liberal Party, which has faced scrutiny over multiple candidates' comments about or apparent links to the Chinese government. In a picture provided to the National Post, Gigi Li, the head of two controversial Chinese community organizations and a Brossard city councillor, is seen attending an invitation-only dinner hosted by Mendez Tuesday evening. I'm pleased to invite you to a rallying spaghetti dinner for the 2025 federal election campaign, reads a copy of the invitation from Alexandre Mendez, sent to event attendees and obtained by National Post. Li is the executive director of Service à la Famille Chinoise du Grand Montréal and the Centre Sino-Québec de la Rivière-Sud. In 2023, the RCMP announced that it was investigating suspicions that the organization secretly housed a Chinese police station that may be supporting efforts to intimidate or silence critics of China's ruling communist regime. Maybe, just maybe, people are getting sick of this. Maybe. There are winds of change coming. Advanced polling stations across the country are already feeling overwhelmed by the result of people. Some are going out because they hate Donald Trump, and some are going out because they desire hope for change. Just as a reminder, advanced polling is the rest of this weekend. If you want to avoid the lineups, looks like you're screwed either way. It's going to be lineups wherever you go because the winds of change are here. Make sure you take the time. Know it could take you a while, but it is 100% worth to fight through and vote for the change that you want. I've said it here and I've said it again, and I'll say it another time. The Donald Trump threat can only get people up so much compared to the people who just want to be able to afford their lives again. Now, how badly do you want it? Enjoy your Saturday. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out.